Happy October, everyone, and happy All Hallows Eve. So, we're going to start with just discussing the retrogrades that are ongoing and also the ones that are going to start this month up until the end of the year. So, we start with Saturn retrograde. This retrograde period started since June 17th and it will come to a close on November 4th. This retrograde deals with the third eye and your childhood. It mostly deals with the ongoing traumas from childhood that are affecting us in our daily adult lives. So, as we said in the previous videos, since June, it is time to reconcile those childhood issues, those childhood traumas, so that we can start living the life that we were naturally born to live. So, going forward in your life, you might want to just incorporate those little joys that you had when you were a child. It could be something as frivolous as playing with dolls, coloring, painting, whatever it was that you did that was positive, that brought you happiness when you were a child. Incorporate that into your meditations until the end of the retrograde on November 4th. And also stay positive. It's important to stay positive because, like I said before in previous videos, the Pisces energy is a very enabling energy. It's a very strong mother figure, but at the same time, it never really disciplined the way that it should. It mostly just lets you learn your lesson on your own. So be responsible enough to learn that lesson and to heal yourself as you need to. All right, so I'm going to lay it out verbatim and how the energy has been affecting me since about pre-summer up until right now as I'm sitting here making this video. Saturn's retrograde and Uranus retrograde are both cleaning house. Some of us have had so much trauma in our childhood, and a lot of that trauma dealt with our parents. A lot of our parents dealt with financial issues that affected them very negatively, and it resulted in our lives being affected and harmed. One thing that always pop up in my head when I process this energy is if you're if you were raised in the African American or Caribbean household, then you understand what I'm saying. Back in the early 90s to mid 90s, parents had a habit of placing their utility bills in their children's names. So as they would do this, they would pretty much hit those financial issues where they couldn't pay the bills on time. And as they were having these issues, they pretty much were crushing and destroying their children's financial stability before that child could even begin to make a decision financially. That's the energy I'm getting off of this Saturn retro joining with Uranus retro. There's a clean house and a clean up that we have to do as the new generation of adults coming out of our parents' households, where we just have to clean ourselves and not make the same mistakes that they made. Now, I'm not telling you that you're going to be rich overnight, but I'm telling you that richness is attainable. It's not magic. It's not a miracle. It's nothing special. It's just if you follow specific strategic financial rules, you're bound to be rich. So keep that in mind and remember that energy from the 90s because it's very important for what's coming up next. So then we're met with Jupiter, Retro, and Taurus. Okay, so here's the message I just received. Keep in mind, this I'm just saying it out loud. Keep in mind as you're reading these that the energies in Taurus deals with our stability, our foundation, and our security. So if your pain and suffering in your soul comes from your childhood, that should be your focus. However, if it's more adulthood related, where your childhood was great, you didn't start experiencing hardship until maybe mid-adulthood, until older years, focus on that. Because these retrogrades in Taurus are powerful only because of the two places that they fall. Uranus is a planet of change. Each time Uranus comes around, there's an epic change, not just in our society, but in the world. And I'm not sure if you guys have been paying attention to the news, to reality, but we have, outside of the Ukrainian war, we also have random fires. Like just this week alone, I'm recording this on August 15th. So this week alone, an entire city in Hawaii got burnt down. And all the newscasters are just like, this is so shocking, this has never happened before. But if you follow the stars and you understand what a clean house means on an astrological level, you know it's massive. You know it's not for play. So there's a big cleaning house that's coming up, and we all have to kind of get ready for it. But one thing I've been beaten down with is honesty, truth, trustworthiness. We have to be honest with ourselves. We can't be those people that are hypocrites, where you're blaming someone for something that you're secretly doing behind closed doors. This collective energy is not working in that manner. The way it's working is, it is what it is, period. It is what it is. You can learn to heal, build, rebuild, and thrive, or you can keep lying to yourself and keep suffering while everyone around you is gaining and achieving their goals. So that's pretty much what I got from that Jupiter retro in Taurus. Now, this retro started on September 4th, and it will come to an end at the end of the year on December 31st. Now, September 4th is Virgo, our nurturing energy. And then December 31st is our Capricorn, pretty much our pockets, our money, our the sister to Taurus, our enhancer in creating discipline and stability. So keep those things in mind when you're processing these energies in your day-to-day lives. So back in July, Chiron went retro, and Chiron mostly deals with our childhood, our pains from childhood, lessons that we have to learn to move on into our adulthood and have a successful adult life. So this kind of retros back into that Jupiter Uranus retrograde that we talked about earlier, that deals in Saturn, that deals with childhood and healing those pains in order to have a balanced adulthood and know how to correlate the adulthood experience in a more balanced way, in a more positive way, so that we can enjoy life. In all honesty, it's all about enjoying life, and a lot of us are possibly not fully enjoying life because we have this thing hanging over us that we don't know what it is, but we know it's there every day. And so what you want to do is dig deep within yourself and figure out, what is it, you know, what is it that is bothering me from my past that somehow I've just held on to, I haven't let go of, that I need to process through. And once you process through that, it gets ugly before it gets pretty. So once you process through that, you'll see the difference within yourself as you start delving into the truth behind how you actually feel about whatever it is that took place. So focus on that. I would say these retrogrades as they're coming to a close, the key word here is childhood and healing is what should be your focus. So let's have a little fun. We're retro, things are, out of control. It's energies are everywhere. But Mars, our playful Aryan ruled planet, is in fun dualistic Gemini. Not sure how you guys are perceiving this, but this is fun. Mars in Gemini, as long as we stay positive, we can finish this process. We can heal, we can have fun, we can be naughty or nice, and we can also feel safe, which is what Aries energy and Martian energy teaches us to feel about ourselves. Let's dive into this retrograde. So Gemini represents our dualistic selves, our self that we show in the light. In the image, it would be the one with the halo, our angel self, versus our demon self, or our dark lord self, or our shadow self. There's so many names for this, right? But when in Mars is pretty much one that carries itself forth in the light. It believes in truth and honesty. It believes in action. So Mars's energy, being ruled by Aries naturally, is telling us it doesn't matter which side of the, I don't have the word pinnacle, whatever that word is, whichever side of the light that you choose to play, light or dark, you still have to be truthful to yourself. It is massively necessary for you to be truthful to yourself, to be honest with yourself in order to perceive and carry yourself in a respectful way where others will perceive and carry you in a similar manner. So it's fun. I mean, in all actuality, it is fun, but we have to be honest with ourselves. And we live in a superficial world where everyone's being so fake and so funny, phony, and most people don't even know themselves half the time because they're busy being fake and phony. This is that moment as you're cleaning house from your past. You're pulling the rug from under yourself. This is that moment where you can pause and be like, you know what? I'm going to continue being honest and truth and healing and discipline and straightforward with myself, but I'm ready to have some fun. I'm ready to let my hair down. I'm ready to jump in some puddles. I'm ready to bring back that joyous kid that existed prior to the trauma. I'm ready to do that. So focus on that. That is the closure of our retrogrades for October. So let's dive into the month. Let's see what's happening. So the month of October's tarot card is the Star upright. The Star deals with Uranus, the element of air. It deals with dealing with self, dealing with new opportunities, setting goals, achieving goals. The aura of the month of October that I received when I was prepping is lessons learned. Those are the key words to the aura that I received. It was simply lessons learned. So going forward, as we're marching our way through the month of October, keep in mind the month of October is a very fun month. We are in the beginning processes of the autumn season, which is one of my favorite seasons. We're in the process of celebrating All Hallows Eve. We're going to be getting dressed up, having some fun. We're going to be letting our hair down a little bit, getting ready for the celebration of the winter holidays that are coming up. So, with that said, let's dive into this whole lessons learned and moving forward. Lessons learned. So, throughout the entire year, all I've heard from the higher forces is childhood, childhood, childhood. If you feel stuck, if you feel like you can't get to where you need to get to, it has something to do with your childhood. And with this star appearing in this month of October, it's just telling us that if we really do dig deep in, do everything that we need to do, we will conquer those demons that have been lingering around, that have been holding us back, and we will have this moment of enlightenment, this moment of great light, and we will be able to see forth that we are the star in our lives. We are the superstar of our story, and we can regain that power back. We can and we will regain that stability and that power back. So I'm going to start diving into the month. And I remember as we transitioned from spring into summer, we started having our new moons prior to our full moons, and it's the same thing this month. Our new moon falls prior to our full moon. So I'm going to start with the new moon, and then I'm going to dive into that full moon. So the month of October is split in half. The first half is for Libra, the second half is for Scorpio. So it is an air water energy. The first half that is in Libra is ruled by Libra in the new moon on October 14th. This will fall on a Saturday. Now the energy for the new moon will be Saturnian energy mixed with Venus energy. Sorry, my words are like so we're going to use the mixture of these two energies for me to explain this to you. We have the Libra, which is the masculine energy in our zodiac. We have Saturn, which rules over lessons, discipline, our childhood lessons. And we have Venus, which is love, nurturing, abundance, resources, material. So as we were building onto the month from the retros up until this new moon on October 14th, all that this is telling me is that pretty much the energies are being forthright. They're not hiding anything. They're not playing in secrecy. They're not doing anything whereas it's a mystery anymore. If you have done all the work that you need to do, by the time this new moon comes, you will be like the young lady that you see in the image, balancing your scales. You'll be balancing your light and your darkness. You'll be balancing your good and your evil. However you deal with your dualistic self, you'll be balancing the two. And with that being said, it's a lot of work. It's not simply I want this and therefore I have it. It's a lot of work because a lot of us it's very hard for me to do these readings. Sometimes I kind of push them to the side because as I'm throwing myself into the energy field, all I'm reading is pain and suffering. There's been a lot of people as we're going into this abundant spirit, this abundance period, that the first part of their lives were filled with suffering. And it's very hard for them to go into that period wholeheartedly because it's hard for them to trust. And the energy that I'm receiving is trust. It's okay. It's okay. Let your guards down. Understand that when you were a child, the relationship and the journey was between you and your parents and the elders around you. But as an adult, this relationship and this journey is more personal. It's about you. So if you are having issues with trusting someone, it's yourself that you can't trust. It's yourself that you don't have confidence and discipline in. And a lot of us need to practice discipline in order to reach those goals that we're achieving. And a lot of us have big goals that we're setting on the table. So keep in mind during this new moon, the entire month of October is ruled by earth energy, meaning that if you do the work, you will ground yourself and you will reach that abundance that you're looking for. So, as I just stated, the month of October is in a very grounding, energetic space. So, we have both the new moon and the full moon are both being ruled by earth signs. And we have the Libra scales in the new moon on a Saturday. Then at the end of the month on the 28th, we have Taurus ruling over the full moon. So, this is a double feminine moon, a double earth moon. So, everything that we stated before, lessons learned, healing the child in you, progressing to that next stage of your life. It's very important when we get to the meditative stage of our moon rituals. We are going to be in the heart chakra for the month of October. Now, keep in mind the first half of the month is naturally ruled by Libra, which is ruled by the heart chakra. The second half of the moon is ruled. Second half of the month is ruled by Scorpio, which rules over the sacral chakra. Now, trigger warning: if I say anything that offends anyone, just process it instead of getting defensive. Just process what it is that I'm saying. At the end of the month, we're going to have the two opposing signs, Taurus and Scorpio. Taurus is going to rule over the full moon on a Saturday on October 28th. The sun will be in the sign of Scorpio on that same, I meant to say Saturday, on that same Saturday on October 28th. You can have one of two experiences. If your Scorpio and your Taurus are balanced, then you'll have a wonderful day. Your heart and your sacral chakra, heart ruling over unconditional love, healing over seeing the world from a new perspective, will be in full effect and balance. And then your sacral chakra, which deals with your sensuality, your creativity, and also sometimes if you're in that space, your sexuality will also be in balance. So now you will be able to connect with yourself or with another in a more balanced way. That's one side. The other side of that is the chaotic, toxic, detrimental, dark, negative side of Taurus and Scorpio. So on that day, you may have the worst possible day because when we go dark and when we go toxic, two signs that should never be near each other is Scorpio and Taurus, where Scorpio will be very shadowy and behind the scenes with their toxicity and their evil. Taurus will do it in your face. Taurus doesn't care because Taurus already knows his or her strength. Now, mind you, the situation is internal. You have a situation where it's your heart chakra versus your sacral chakra. It's your unconditional love versus your creativity, sensuality, sexuality, and all that fun stuff. It's you versus you. So it's based on you how you process these things. It's personal. It has nothing to do with anyone sitting next to you. It has nothing to do with any spirits or energies that are around you. It's personal. At the end of the day, individuals will come around you and do whatever foolishness and nonsense that they want to do. It's up to you how you process that information and that energy. Now, with that being said, being in the heart chakra, being on a Saturday, we have some balanced energies. We have the color of brown and black under the candle, and then we also have the heart chakra stones that are all by design listed in green, only because we need that balanced, tranquil, bliss, joyful energy around us for this period. Now, mind you, this is for this first half here is for the new moon, but in all honesty, the new moon being in Libra, ruled by Libra, that's a safe game. You don't have anything to worry about that. It's when she passes the baton to Taurus. Now, Taurus has to come face to face with the Scorpion energy in its natural home on a very treacherous day. That's when you have to really kind of angle yourself out to actually understand what's going on. So we're gonna move into that full moon. When we move into that full moon, you'll kind of understand what I'm saying, because the energies of Scorpion and Taurus, they just don't mesh well together. You have two fixed signs, one in earth, balanced earth, and one in ever changing, ever moving water. These two signs don't mix well together, and I'm going to explain that very briefly.
So as the horizon comes to a close, the moon will rise and she will be in the sign of her exaltation, which is the bull. When the moon and the bull come together, it's party time. When the moon and the bull comes together, the energy of the moon feels feminine, she feels powerful, she feels amazing. Nothing can stop her. However, on the other side of her exaltation is her detriment, which is the sign of Scorpio. Now, on this very day, which is kind of now you understand my reason for explaining things within the new moon, kind of getting everyone prepped for this full moon. Um, she's not exalted in Scorpio. She is in her detriment sign naturally. For one reason or another, the moon's natural female feminine aura doesn't correspond well with the Scorpion feminine aura, and that creates clashes, that creates chaos, that creates problems. Now, one might say, well, she has powerful bull with her. Why would she feel any type of way? I use this image purposefully because this year was a rough one. Everyone would say 2020 and 2021 were tough. Nah, 2023 was tough because 2023 was a setup. 2023 was a year of everything's going to be all right. We got through the COVID. COVID was over 2 years ago. We're good to go. Everything is back in motion. Everything is working as it should. We're going to be fine. And that wasn't the situation. From natural disasters to wars to poverty to political uproar to personal chaos and personal issues, 2023 proved to be one of the most horrendous years of the 2020s. And come the end of October, the moon, with her bull family behind her, will give her the energy of exaltation, and she will give the same energy back to bull, and they will face the day that is 2 to 2.5 days prior to All Hallows Eve, where they will have to come face to face with the toxicity of the negative aspect of being within the Scorpion energy. Nothing against Scorpios. If you are a real Scorpio, and mind you, I've said this a number of times where my moon sign is in Scorpio, meaning my sun is in Taurus. How I express myself is in Taurus, but my intuition, how I think, how I feel, how I express my emotions are all in Scorpio. So you can kind of understand why this day is so prevalent for me. I'm a Taurus with a Scorpion moon, and on this day it's going to be the opposite of the situation where the sun will be in Scorpio and the moon will be in Taurus. And I've gone through this a number of times. The moon in Taurus is completely different from the moon in Scorpio. On her good day, the moon in Taurus is more concerned with creating stability in her shadow world, her spiritual world, per se, her emotional world. On a bad day, she's greedy, she's calculus, callous. I'm sorry. She's callous. She's cunning, manipulative. She reflects nothing of her twin, the light bulb. And it's the same thing with the scorpion. The moon in Scorpio on a good balanced aura is very spiritual. These are these individuals that you always see doing yoga, meditating, talking about the chakra, spirituality, enlightenment. That's on a balanced day. On a detrimental day, she's emotional, she's insecure, she cries about everything, and I'm the bull managing this energy. And as a teen, I went through the process of understanding myself from my sun, my Saturn, and my moon sign. And I would tell you the weakest one is the moon. She is annoying. I don't like that energy within myself. I have absolutely nothing against scorpions. I'm just saying their energy, when it goes toxic and bad, it's real hard to get that energy picked back up. So that's what we'll be dealing with on October 28th. And in all honesty, it seems right. I don't know if that makes sense what I'm saying, but it just seems right. Because 2 days later, Mars, our fighting energy, the Martian in you, goes retro in your dualistic energy of Gemini. So it just seems right that, excuse me, it just seems right that Taurus would come face to face with her counterpartner right before the fighter goes retro. That just seems perfectly aligned. Now, during this day, my advice,
My only advice is to dig deep into your childhood. As I was recording, I had this chaotic energy that came over me. It was filled with stress, anxiety, but I knew it wasn't my energy because it was like sitting back and watching something outside of you. And within that chaos, there was a child. And it's like the message I received was, on this day, know who you are. Moon transitions are always a bit chaotic, especially when it's going into full. But most importantly, if it's going into a full moon, but the sign it's going into it's is experiencing tribulations, the moon energy kind of emphasizes on that. So the situation that I'm seeing is that it's not really the where the moon is heading that's chaotic. It's more like the moon is trying to correct something from the past, and it's going to use the Taurus energy to do that correction. But because it will be in the sun sign of Scorpio, there will be some challenges. In other words, it's as if your mother was going to help you with something, and the space where she has to enter to go help you weakens her. Is the best way I could say this. The moon wants to help us. The moon's energy wants to watch us progress and grow and become greater than we are right now, become your best self. However, in the sun sign of Scorpio, that day the moon's energy will kind of be weakened a little bit. Or in the beginning of the month, that new moon renewal energy is strong. In the full moon, that collection may not be as strong, only due to that detriment of that day's energy, if that makes sense. So dig into your childhood, be honest with yourself. You are a selfish child. Know that, all is forgiven, and let go of those past negative aspects of yourself so that you can actually grow into a more positive, prominent adult. This has nothing to do with our light, dark selves, our evil, good selves. It's literally that child that you were born to be, possibly got harmed along the way and turned away from its true story and became more vicious. Your Remember, your moon sign is your intuitive, your spirit possibly became more vicious, more mean, in other words. And in all honesty, I'm experiencing it myself. That energy just can be directed to you unless you're involved with another spirit. If you're involved with another spirit, then it's you and that spirit doing the battles. Then both of you need to align your childhoods, align your pains, your suffering, heal from that, let that go, and actually move forward. because this stagnation won't take us anywhere. So that's the message. For the both of those moon transitions from the new to the full, we're going to be in the heart chakra. We will be healing unconditional love. We will be practicing unconditional love. We will actually be using green crystals to balance our heart chakra and bring about a sense of togetherness. And it's not external togetherness, it's internal togetherness. For those of us, like I said in the previous video, that have been harmed, heal yourself, let go. It's not worth it. It's not worth it to continuously be battling the past. Like this morning, I was having this conversation where it's like, if you're always going to the past to battle, you're always going to lose because the past has happened. It's the future that's being created. So if you're constantly going to the past to fight something, you're constantly going to lose because the past is. The past is written in concrete at this point. It can't be changed. And if you're going back there, you're always going to get beaten down because the past is, and it's the future that we should be looking forward to. So I wish you guys a wonderful month of October. Keep in mind all the key details that I listed. I'm going to do my best to kind of timeline this for you because I know it's a lot of information, and I look forward to speaking with you all in November.